One Zambia, one nation. You are watching the Zambia News and Information Services, Zanis News. I am your presenter, Henry Himonde. Let's take a look at the headlines in our news. Stakeholders anticipate increased trade after African Union meeting. ChildFund and Irish Embassy hand over classroom block. And Luano District receives funds for road rehabilitation. And now the details. As the African continent prepares for the 4th mid-year coordination meeting of the African Union next month, member states are expected to address trade facilitation on their agenda. Michelo Malungisa reports that stakeholders in the commerce sector are optimistic that Africa, being one of the biggest trading bloc, will fulfill its ambition of forming a single trade pact through the African Continental Free Trade Area. Take a look at the following report.
Africa has been striving to accelerate and improve its intra-trade volumes by strengthening its common voice through the different treaties, such as the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. The AfCFTA is one of the flagship projects under the Agenda 2063 of the African Union, AU. Zambia will next month be hosting the 4th AU mid-year coordinating meeting, and different stakeholders hopes that the meeting will be used to strengthen economic and trade integration of Africa.
The AU summit has a significant milestone on the part of Zambia. This speaks to the growing capacity for the country to host international events, and an event like this one helps to spotlight some of the opportunities that Zambia has to offer to the continent as well as to the world. Especially if you look at the theme for the summit, which looks at issues related to food and nutrition. I think this speaks highly to activities that are happening within the agricultural sector. And if you look at a number of African countries, they're grappling with a number of challenges. Some of these challenges are coming from the adverse effects of climate change, which is impacting negatively.
Cross-border trading is one of the sectors that has been creating employment for people in Zambia, and for them improvement in inter-trade protocols is key.
They will be tabling one of the issues, issue of free trade area. This is one area which discusses issues of trade facilitation. And the major issue that we need to look at there is trade facilitation. How are we facilitating trade from Zambia to another country?
Center for Trade Policy and Development is calling for speedy implementation of trade treaties that African countries have signed.
But beyond signing of trade agreements from the Center for Trade Policy and Development, our appeal to African countries is that they need to step up efforts towards ensuring that they have competitive goods that can be traded within the continent as well as other distant markets. This speaks to the agenda on value addition.
Boosting African intra-trade calls for providing a comprehensive and mutually beneficial agreement among member states. Michelo Lubinda for Zanis in Osaka.
And in a related development, but this time on the Copperbelt province, a delegation from the Czech Republic that arrived in the country early this week has traveled to the province to explore investment opportunities aimed at providing solutions to the challenges faced by Zambia's health sector. Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo led a delegation into various meetings to discuss provision of quality health. Frank Chingambu has more in the following report.
Efforts of President Hakainde Hichilema as Zambia's chief marketing officer are now bearing fruits. This high-level delegation from the Czech Republic, led by that country's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Martin Tlapa, is here looking for partnerships in the health sector. The team met different stakeholders drawn from various parts of the Copperbelt, seeking solid partnerships in areas of agriculture, security, and health. Ready to set up industries that will manufacture specialized health equipment here and provide solutions to some of the challenges Zambia's health sector is faced with.
We bring leading companies from health sector from the Czech Republic, and we would like to introduce the proposal for the cooperation solutions from the Czech Republic. Building, one of the decisions is building a center of excellence. It means transfer know-how, training the people, and helping with the equipment for the hospitals, extend the capacity. We need to invest into the health capacities.
Health Minister Sylvia Masebo accompanied the team.
It is hoped that some of the challenges that we are facing, especially in the various parts of the country, can begin to be resolved. For example, the hospitals. So what are we doing? We are bringing people that can provide that equipment at their doorstep. They don't have to fly to London or to Czech or anywhere, because through the presidential visits, these people now have started coming into the country. So as you've seen, they've come prepared, and they're looking at people they can partner with.
Lack of equipment, MRI, CT scan, X-ray machines, which now can be procured from the provided platform, the Constituent Development Fund, via local needs and participation of identification of those needs. So the CDF is looking at life-changing experiences such as water provision, as my colleague has already said, provision of medical services.
Meanwhile, Mr. Tlapa said his country is also willing to invest in Zambia's agricultural sector to enhance food supply chain in the region and Europe. Frank Chingambu reporting from Ndola. Zanis News.
And in our education segment, Sheila Masua reports that the removal of the 30 kwacha adult literacy fee by government has attracted over 50 women who have enrolled in adult literacy and numeric classes at Chawama Primary School in Ndola on the Copperbelt province.
They sit in class today with the eagerness to learn how to read and write. These are the women of Kawama area in Ndola who, for various reasons, did not have the chance to excel with their education. Luckily, with the introduction of free education, government scrapped off the fee that was previously paid for adult literacy classes. The removal of the 30 kwacha literacy fee has seen an increase in the number of adults enrolling at Chawama Primary School.
Education, but tulesambira kufa kuishiko kuberenga kuishiko kupenda.
Lubengele Primary School in Chililabombo district, the surge in pupil enrollment has caused the deficits of desks and infrastructure. The school has 16 classrooms against 2,647 pupils.
The challenge that we have as a school is that we do not have enough desks as a school, so we have a lot of our learners just sitting on the floor. Yes, but then we have, as a school, planned in our budget to rehabilitate some of the damaged desks.
Parents, teachers and pupils have embraced the challenges brought about by the introduction of free education by supporting the implementation of the policy for a good cause. Sheila Masua reporting in Ndola.
Still on education, ChildFund Zambia, with support from the Irish government, has upgraded Kakonge Primary School in Kemawad of Shangombo district from a grass-thatched to a modern school. A team from ChildFund Zambia and the Irish Embassy was at the school to hand over the newly constructed block. Here now are the details.
Hereby receive this wonderful project. We say thank you very much.
With the implementation of free education, classrooms have become overcrowded in Shangombo district due to limited classroom blocks. In order to cushion infrastructure deficit, ChildFund Zambia, with support from the Embassy of Ireland, has handed over a 1x4 classroom block, a 10,000 litres water tank, 145 desks, sporting equipment and teaching and learning materials at Kakonge Primary School of Keanawat in Shangombo district.
We do this because we believe that quality education is a human right that should be guaranteed for all without discrimination. It's the time that I visited, there was no school. The school was on the other side, a mud classroom block. So to stand here and see a beautiful structure behind me, I think it's exciting.
Ireland would like to continue the warm friendship with Zambia. Ireland has had a development assistance program in Zambia over 40 years now, and we have worked to support Zambia in many areas.
I thank God that God has made me to deliver, has enabled me to deliver this development to the rural community, the most remote area of Shangobo district. As women in government or in leadership, this is what a woman can do.
Kasuka Sakaimbo reporting, Shangobo.
In Northwestern Province, government through the Ministry of Education has distributed assorted equipment to all the schools in Kasempa district. This is in an effort to bridge the gap created following the increased enrollment of pupils in most public schools. Details in the following report.
For Zambia to attain Vision 2030 of becoming a middle-income country, there is need to impact learners with necessary skills. It is for this reason that government through the Ministry of Education has distributed office furniture and other equipment to all the schools in Kasempa district of the Northwestern Province.
For over 20 years, our education system was tailored towards producing me to get white-collar employment at grade 12. And that is all. We are now sitting around the table to look at is survival only in white-collar job, becoming a nurse, becoming a teacher, becoming a police officer? The answer is no, not only in civil service. But survival is also in equipping me and you in the necessary skills.
Materials received needed to be put to good use. Let us treasure what has been given to our schools and use it for the betterment of our child and the community.
School administrators express their gratitude to government.
Indeed, it will alleviate the problem that we have been facing, not only as administrators, but even the pupils, and it will also help us to implement the government policy, especially in the implementation of free education.
Gabriel Kachaka reporting for Zanis News in Kasempa District, Northwestern Province.
In environmental news, the United Nations Environment Programme is pleased with government efforts to restore the ecosystem in Lukanga swamps in Kapirimposhi district in Central Province. Mtalekani now gives us details in the following report.
The Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, through the Ecosystem-Based Adaptation Project, which aims to address climate change vulnerability of rural communities, has toured the Lukanga swamps in Central Province. A weed, scientifically known as Salvinia molesta, has clogged up the swamps, making it difficult for fishing activities to thrive. This is why the government project is interested in revamping these ponds, which breed weevil, a living organism that destroys the weed.
It was easy for people to do their fishing activities in those areas. But soon after it was spotted, it started spreading in those areas, thereby covering most of the fishing areas. Apart from those fishing areas, it also covered most of the channels. Now, when you look at Lukanga Swamp is known for fish, and fish cannot survive without life.
And the United Nations Environment Programme, which is the implementer of the government-executed project, is impressed with efforts to restore the ecosystem.
The last couple of days have given me a good understanding of the challenges that are faced by the communities who are living adjacent to these key wetlands, and the economic activities and the livelihoods that they are engaged in, and recognizing and realizing what needs to be addressed through this project and beyond, and also looking at how the ecosystems represented by the wetlands and the forests and these livelihoods could be at risk owing to future climate change.
Talakani for Zanis News in Kapirimposhi, Central Province.
Still in Central Province, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has given 3.6 million kwacha to Luano District for the construction of all-weather gravel roads in the area. Luano District Council Secretary Innocent Mtambo says the funds have been disbursed through the Land Development Fund. Here now are the details.
In order to attract more investments in Luano district of Central Province, government through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and the Land Development Fund has embarked on the construction of 66 kilometers of township roads. Luano Council Secretary Innocent Mutambo says a total of 3.6 million kwacha was given to the district for the works.
Chair, we had applied to the Land Development Fund to have this area of Luano district opened up in terms of access road. Chair, we are funded to open up 66 kilometers. That is stable gravel or with the gravel. The initial funding we were given, total funding was about 3.6 million. That is Ministry of Lands.
Mr. Mutambo also added that most of the contractors working on developmental projects in the district have been funded.
A number of these contractors have been funded. So this time you find that the police station, the contractor is on site. You find that the district administration, the contractor is on site. National housing for the 10 low-cost houses is on site. The civic center, we are told the contractor has been funded, but we are yet to see him or her. But we know they have been funded, and we believe also the 20 houses could have been funded. The houses are almost at completion stage when you look at them. I think there's not much required.
And Central Province Permanent Secretary Myuna Mwanakampwe says government is impressed with the work of Zambia National Service on the township roads in the district.
66 kilometers, 3.6 million, ZNS is doing its best. And if ZNS is doing its best, why don't we then say that most of the time, let's resolve to be using ZNS, because they're not letting us down.
Kelvin Tembo for Zanis in Luano District, Central Province. From Central Province, we now take you to Western Province, where Luampa District Commissioner Alfred Mandumba has advised farmers to take advantage of the latest technology and innovations in order to grow the agricultural sector. Mr. Mandumba urged farmers to pay attention to the latest technologies and trends in the sector. Joel Himambo gives us details in the following report.
The agricultural sector in Luampa district has continued to record substantial growth as evidenced by a number of farmers taking up new farming methods and crop diversification. In order to enhance exchange of knowledge in the agricultural industry, for the first time since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, Luampa Show Society has held a successful district agricultural and commercial show under the theme Innovation through Technology.
Farmers need to be supported in areas such as crop diversification, irrigation and soil fertility improvements in order to have food security, generate income. One way of supporting farmers with these skills and knowledge is through district shows.
Luampa District Show Chairperson Musa Tavakamlam has encouraged farmers in the district to consider diversifying into fish farming.
Fish farming is another form of agriculture that still lacks attention in our district. Let's give it attention. Time is gone when traditional methods of agriculture were a custom. Both crop and animal technocrats are there for us for modern methods and practices of farming. Look at our theme, innovation through technology, that matches with today's farming methods.
Jory Mambo, Zanis in Luampa District, Western Province.
And finally, in the news, government has released over 36 million kwacha to the Department of Social Welfare in Mchinga Province for the Social Cash Transfer Program. The payment is meant to cover over 68,000 beneficiaries for the month of May and June. More in the following report.
It has become an important economic wheel for many. Payment of the Social Cash Transfer Fund under the Department of Social Welfare for the month of May and June is underway in Mchinga Province following the release of funds by government. Provincial Social Welfare Officer Jacob Miti confirmed the development.
You may be aware, Mchinga has 8 districts,
And all the 8 districts have since received the money. And Muchinga has a total number of beneficiaries which adds to 68,380. Out of this number, 62,629 are able-bodied and 5,751 are disabled.
Mr. Miti says the payment exercise in the province is expected to be completed this week.
Out of the 8 districts, 4 districts have completed payments, whilst the foreign districts are yet to complete by Wednesday, which is Mpika, Lavushmanda, Isoka, and Mafinga.
We received the total amount of money which came in our district account. It was 5,729,600. This money was for May-June transfers. And the total beneficiaries that are benefiting from these monies are 9,110.
The timely release of funds by the government has resulted in economic improvement.
We are grateful to government for the support.
Miriam Kwenda reporting for Zanis in Chinsali, Muchinga Province.
Miriam Kumwenda's report brings us to the end of Zanis News, but before we go away, let's take another look at the top stories in our news. Stakeholders are anticipating increased trade after African Union meeting. ChildFund and the Irish Embassy have constructed a classroom block in Shangombo district. And Luano district has received funds for road rehabilitation. That is all we had for you on Zanis News. On behalf of the entire news production crew, my name is Henry Himonde, but remember to log on to our website on www.zanis.com.zm for more stories. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.